I have with me Sam Bleakley, who has kindly offered to be a guest on our show. Sam, tell me, what brought you to Sri Lanka?
It's a country that I visited as a surfer, as a traveller in the 90s, in the early 2000s. And I have a really good relationship with a fantastic surf and yoga retreat called Soul and Surf in Ahangama. And I have written a lot about the surf history and culture in Sri Lanka. So I've come to the Galle Literary Festival to do some talks, some panel discussions, and some film showings and events at Soul and Surf in Ahangama.
Right, and this is your first visit to Galle Literary Festival as a speaker.
Yeah, so I remember Galle Literary Festivals 5, 6, 7 years ago being very prestigious and hearing very positive things about it. I visited Galle before, but this is my first time to come to the festival, and it's wonderful that it's back again.
Right. I read that you were based in India as well. What are the major differences you have found between India and Sri Lanka when it comes to your speciality, which is surfing?
Yeah, so I've spent a good amount of time in Kerala, around Varkala. And the coastline...
Sorry, is that where the best area for surfing in India is?
There are two big areas for surfing in India. Kerala is a big area, and also along the east coast.
Right.
And Sri Lanka is similar in that you have surf in the southwest, and you also have surf on the east coast, and they both have different seasons. But the coastline of Kerala, where I've spent a good deal of time, is very different to the southwest coast here. The beauty of this coast is that you have the coral, the clear water, the coves and the bays. In contrast to the Kerala coast of India, the geology of the coast is much straighter, and the water has a lot of the rocks and the silt suspended in it, so it's not so clear. So this is the kind of place where you're going to see turtles, you have the white sand, and it really is special for tourism and surfing.
Right. Now, we have a fabulous coast, like you said, the east coast, the south coast. We see a lot of surfers in both areas. Why do you think Sri Lanka has not yet produced world-class surfers?
I think it will. I think it takes a number of factors. Surfing has to have a few generations of local communities involved. So it's often either the children or the grandchildren of the first generation that might become international champions. So you might well find in the next 10 years that Sri Lanka will produce champions.
Do you think maybe like the sports ministry or anything can step in and do more? What can they do to elevate it?
Well, a big opportunity with surfing at the moment is the fact that shortboard surfing is now an Olympic sport, so that facilitates good funding structures from governing bodies to support the federations, but that requires the governing body of the sport to have a robust system in place. And that could be a big opportunity for Sri Lanka, for them to generate money from the International Olympic Committee, for the Sri Lankan Surf Federation, allow the best young athletes to train and attend international competitions. And then that access to the best competitors can be a stepping stone to improve the level and gain, you know, a broader, high quality status for Sri Lankan surfing.
For the benefit of our viewers, can you explain the difference between shortboard and longboard surfing?
So there are a number of ways you can ride a wave. So you can ride a wave on your body surfing. You can use what we call a belly board. They're great ways to learn how to swim and be safe in the ocean at lovely beaches like Welagama, which is sandy. And then when you progress to stand-up surfing, you have the shortboard and the longboard. Now the shortboard is about 6 or 7 feet high, normally with the pointy top, and that allows you to surf bigger, faster waves and do more gymnastic performance. The longboard is about 9 feet long, and it has a rounded top, and that allows you to ride smaller waves and to move your feet and your body up and down the board. So it's more of a graceful, jazz-like performance as opposed to the more rock music of shortboarding. And depending on the types of locations you're surfing, you can do either, and some people do both, and some people specialize. In Aragon Bay, you'll see a very high quality level of Sri Lankan longboarders. And longboarding is very good as well at places like Marissa, Midigama, Ahangama. Hikadu is probably a better place for shortboarding and more of a powerful, fast-breaking wave. So it's nice that we have these different approaches, and a bit like with literature and music, you can choose the genre.
Now, in the recent past, you won the European Surfing Championships, am I right? What year was that in?
So I've been a multiple European champion through the 1990s and 2000s.
Right.
And as I've moved away from competition, I now work as a sports commentator for the international longboarding tours.
Right.
But also in the adaptive and parasurf community, which is associated with the Paralympics. You have able-bodied surfers and surfers who may have impairments, visual impairments, limb impairments, spinal cord injuries. That's a big growing area of surfing globally, and each country sends teams to the power surfing events.
Why do you think Sri Lanka has not yet produced good female surfers?
I think that there's emerging opportunities now. Aragon Bay has an all-female surf club, and that is now happening on the southwest coast as well. I think traditionally there have been barriers, particularly with the clothing worn in the ocean. And that is changing with the opportunity to cover your skin, to wear sea suits and swimsuits so you don't expose all of your body. And that is a very important breakthrough for a lot of countries around the world. But also I think it just takes trailblazers, role model young females into the likes of skateboarding and surfing, who prove to their sisters and the next generation that it's possible and that it can be an integral part of their life whilst honouring their cultural traditions, but respecting that adaptation, evolution, change can be helped with a more resilient culture. And it's become a big part of the tourism economy, surfing here. And I absolutely believe that there will be more and more Sri Lankan women, both surfing and skateboarding.
Right. From all across Sri Lanka, what is your favorite surfing location?
Ahangama is my favorite location because
and why is that?
I ride the longboards and I really like the more gentle waves and the some of the emerging ecotourism small scale facilities there with cafes, restaurants, yoga, surf lessons. They have a great management, good energy, a lot of Sri Lankan staff working, and those are the waves that for me are my favorite areas in Sri Lanka.
And how old were you when you first got on a surfboard?
I was lucky. My father had surfed since the 1960s, so I learned before I even realized I was doing it. And I've been able to do that with my children.
And where was that? Where did you learn to surf?
I learned to surf in southwest England, in Cornwall. Very cold compared to here. And I brought my daughter surfing here when she was 3. So I've got some nice photos I was looking at recently of her relying on my surfboard with me, Marissa, when she was age 3. She's now become a champion surfer. She's 16. And so I've started both my son and my daughter at a young age. But you can access surfing at any age. An important thing is to look for a surf school and have a safe introduction to it, and that will involve developing some sea literacy, learning about waves and safety and swimming, and having a safe opportunity to try lying on the board and standing on the board. And you should never think that it's something that only young people can do. People can surf into their 80s and 90s.
Well, you've given me hope now.
You'll be, if you want to learn a lesson, you're welcome. We'll be in there together. You'll be in the tube at Hikkaduwa. No, it won't. There's always the right board for any level of surf.
Right. One question it just came into my mind was, I think it's northwestern Portugal where they have those humongous waves.
Nazaré.
That's it.
Yeah.
Have you ever ridden those waves?
No. I leave that to the big heroes. There's another element of surfing. There's longboarding, shortboarding, and big wave surfing. Again, is a whole other element in the sense that you have elite specialisms, and the big wave surfers they're very dedicated, and my interest in surfing is more of the medium small wave surfing, the performative side of it. So I enjoy and I celebrate what they do.
And how dangerous is it?
Surfing on a daily basis is extremely safe relative to other sports. So the injury count in sports like cricket and football is much higher on a daily basis at grassroots level compared to surfing. People associate danger with surfing, but that might be more to do with swimming and an awareness of the ocean. But if you learn how to swim and you develop a sea awareness by spending time at the coast and being taught about the dangers of the coast, the actual activity of surfing is extremely safe. For me, as a white person, my biggest challenge here is sunburn. I have to put a lot of sun cream on. That's my biggest danger. But the joy of surfing these waves in warm water without the neoprene wetsuit is you know, it's something that I would encourage all people to have a go at.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So my final question to you is, can you tell us briefly what your book is about?
So I have a number of books about surf travel and surf tourism, but for the Galle Literary Festival, I'm doing readings from my books about mindfulness and surfing. And the types of writing I've really developed are more about what I call, and other authors have called, blue mindfulness, which is how through the activity of engaging with the coastline and being in the water, it brings us into the present, but at the same time it connects us with the coastal and ocean environment, and that inspires us to be environmentalists, to be stewards of our shared blue space. So that's my real passion, is this idea of blue mindfulness.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope you have an absolutely wonderful festival.
Great. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure.